What's up, guys? Brian Grant here of ContestChampion.com, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of arena testing, and this is the first test of many, and what I want to specifically test today is, do you get more points in the long run if you choose the easiest team every single time or the most difficult team every time? Now, of course, yes, I know you're going to get more points on an individual match basis by choosing the more difficult team. That's how arena works. The harder opponents that you fight, you do get a little bit more points. But if it's taking longer to get through those opponents, is that extra time actually worth those extra points? Or are you going to get more points in the long run just by choosing the easiest team every single time? So I'm going to be doing that test for us. I'm going to be testing both the 4-star arena and the 2-star champion arena right here. And just to kind of go over how I'm going to be doing this test a little bit more, I'm just going to pick the top, the three top champions here. I'm not going to worry about synergies. I'm not going to even worry about class diversity, even though I do kind of do that stuff in my normal day-to-day playing. But just to keep it, as even of a playing field as I possibly can, just so that I don't make any mistakes and throw some different combinations of teams in there. I'm going to be picking these three teams. Then I'll fly through 10 rounds of picking the easiest team, and then I'll come back when those champions are refreshed, and I'll do it the same thing with the more difficult team. And the only other thing that I need to let you guys know, if you're new to this channel and don't know my mastery setup, just so you know, I do have a very strong mastery setup. This is an end game mastery setup for arena. So I do have. I'm basically packing as much power as I can. Yes, of course, there's a little bit of things that I can change around to make the arena fights even just a little bit faster. But I do have a fairly quick setup for arena. So let me go ahead and do this testing now. And I'll check in with you guys between rounds of 10. And again, I will be doing both the 2-star arena and the 4-star arena. So I'll check back with you after the first round of 10. Okay, so you can see I hit up the old Google stopwatch, and this was the first round of 10 in the 2-star arena. This is picking the easiest team every single time. Came out to be 16 minutes and 27 seconds. I then went over to the 4-star arena, and I did the same exact thing, 10 rounds, and only the easiest matchups, and that came out to be 16 minutes and 59 seconds. Now, something to note about the 4-star arena, I had 7 teams of rank 4 level 40s, and then 3 teams of rank 3 level 30s. Alright, here we are at the hard matchup for the 2-star arena. And this was actually not that much slower. I thought it was going to be a little bit slower. It's not too bad, but we'll compare all the numbers in the spreadsheet. And then finally we have the hard matchups in the 4-star arena, and here I definitely did feel the difference. All right, let's go to the spreadsheet now and break down all of these numbers. All right, welcome to my favorite part of all my videos, the spreadsheet breakdown, where now I get to take all that information that is collected and let's actually go through these numbers. So before I do that, though, I did want to mention the way I did the timing, because I failed to mention that in the beginning. The way I did all of the timing was, all of these numbers includes all of the loading screens, all of the different menuing, all that stuff. The way I started the stopwatch was when you're on that screen where you can enter into, each particular arena type. The second I tapped into that arena, I hit start on the stopwatch, and I did the same thing when I was ending stopping the stopwatch. As soon as I was done with that 10th round and the score calculated, and then I got back to that screen where it gave you the option to go into the different arena types, that's when I hit stop. So these are 10 complete rounds, nothing cut out of them, and these are the times that I got. Now, if these times seem fast to you, don't worry about it. These times were definitely way faster than what I was able to pull off when I first started playing this game. To give an example, it used to take me approximately 30 minutes to get through 10 rounds in the 2-star arena. And yeah, now you can see it's been some drastic increases here. It's for a number of reasons. I'll definitely go over all of those in other videos. There's not the only test that I'm going to be doing here. I'll be doing many tests, many guides, tutorials, all that stuff to come on Arena. So I will help you get there if you're not there already. And some of you might even be faster than me, which is awesome. But all right, so let's get into these numbers here. Now let's start out with the 2-star arena. So that's these top 2 ones up here. And you can see I put down the starting points, the ending points after all 10 rounds, and you can see the point gain. it's pretty close. There's really not much difference when it comes to the two-star arena. It was a slight difference, and yeah, over time, the difference is just gonna grow a little bit more and more. But yeah, it really wasn't much difference. The time, it wasn't a whole big difference either. But the actual points per second, once I broke it all down, you can see I just to make it easier to calculate, I changed the minutes and seconds into just seconds, and then I calculated the points per second here, and the easy fights were just barely more points per second, or more points per second than the harder fights. So there you go. It's actually a little bit faster as long as you don't mind going through your roster a little bit more. Maybe you'd have to do like an extra round, so at the end it might seem like it was longer because you had to do an extra round or two. Maybe instead of, it took me 42 rounds this time, and maybe instead of 42, it would have only taken 40 or something. I don't know. So maybe it seems longer, but it's actually faster to do these shorter fights, or faster to do the easier fights. And what this came out to be for, getting the final milestone, 250,000, was 65 minutes. But of course, I was already in an infinite streak for both of these arenas, so I'm adding 5 minutes on it here in the numbers in parentheses here, 70 and 72, to account for first getting into a streak where you're actually getting a decent amount of points. So I just added on 5 minutes. So if you're playing the 2-star arena, you can get all of the milestones in 70 minutes. If you're playing at a pretty quick rate. Now the other thing is I was playing like pretty intensely. I was focused on it. I don't usually focus that hard in arena. Normally I'm playing with one hand. I'm like watching something on YouTube. I'm eating something. I don't know why I have to act everything out. Like you guys don't know what eating looks like. But yeah, normally I'm not that focused. So it wouldn't be that unreasonable for me to do this in like an hour and a half or something like that if I was just like really just like barely paying attention during the fights. It takes me about 90 minutes probably to easily hit that 250,000 milestone. Also, one other thing that I forgot to mention is that I did not lose a single fight in any of these, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's get on to the 4-star arena then. So just a reminder, I had 7 teams of rank 4 level 40s, and then 3 teams of rank 3 level 30s. Now here, in this arena, because it's not just a single star type, whereas the 2-star arena it's just 2 stars, right? So the point difference or the rating difference when you're choosing a matchup is usually not that big. In the 4-star arena, it can be a lot bigger just because you have a mixture of 3 and 4 stars. So you can see the point totals here. There's definitely a difference there. It's not the biggest though. It's really only at about an 11,000 difference, which is really not much. It's just like an extra round when it comes to arena. Actually, like less than an extra round, right? Even less than an extra round with just your 3 stars. So, but it actually added a pretty significant amount of time. It went from about 17 minutes to about 18 and a half, which is pretty significant, really. If you average that out over time, that extra time is going to add up. And the reason for that is because, when it comes to duplicating 4 stars and stuff like that, it's a lot harder to duplicate them. So the easier matchup, if you look at it, you're generally fighting people that are lower levels, like lower summoner levels, between like 35 and 45, and they haven't duped a lot of their champions. So you might fight, let's say you come across like a Hulkbuster, right? And if Hulkbuster is not duped, he's not that bad to get through. But when you choose the hard matchup, generally it's people who are higher level. They have more 4-star champions. They've duplicated more 4-star champions. And if you fight a Hulkbuster that's duped, you're gonna have to do like twice as many hits to get through that Hulkbuster, if not more. Hulkbuster is so annoying when it comes to this stuff. So yeah, that's why I think that the time difference was so big there. One other thing that I just remembered here, I didn't have to sit through any level 3 specials or anything like that. The fights all ended before that happened. All right. The points per second, though, was pretty significantly better for picking the easy fights. 242 points per second versus 230. So that's a pretty big difference, actually, in my opinion, at least. To get the final milestone of 1.5 million, it would take 103 minutes. Versus 108 minutes, and then again I just added on 5 minutes in parentheses for getting through those first few matches till you get to a streak where you can actually get a decent amount of points. And yeah, it's not unreasonable to think that you can do this in like 2 hours, even just playing fairly casually. So um, there you have it, guys. I say go with the easy matches all the way. Now, there are a couple of more reasons why to go with the easy matches as well. And this has to do with, the different solo events that go on and actually the alliance events as well. The more matches you can get in general, the better you're going to score in like the PvP solo events and perfect arena or whatever it's called for your alliance. So definitely, I would say go with the easy fights. Now, there are a couple of reasons to go with the hard fights as well. Yes, I'm not saying never go with the hard fights. Um, if you're using point boosts or you're refreshing your champions or anything like that, then yeah, take a minute to take a few extra seconds to do a harder fight, get that multiplier going just a little bit more. Or if you're having to spend units, you'll have to spend less units in the long run if you're refreshing and picking the hard fight. So there are definitely some edge cases to pick the hard fights as well, but in general, just go with the easy fights. End the matches as fast as you possibly can to get the most amount of points in the shortest amount of time. And that's really it. That's all I've got for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little breakdown here, this little numbers breakdown. It was pretty fun to test, even though it was kind of annoying. I'm actually having to focus on what I was doing in Arena when I'm so used to just like just doing nothing, or whatever. But yeah, it's and you guys can see too, it doesn't take nearly as long once you have, you know, really become efficient at Arena. It does not take that long to hit all of these milestones. If we're putting both of these together, um, if picking all of the easy matchups, and if you're playing efficiently, it's basically like 3 hours to hit all the milestones in both arenas. So we're talking about an hour a day in the arenas to hit those milestones. It's not as bad as people think, as long as you're playing efficiently. And again, I will help you to get there. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. More arena videos to come, definitely. There's plenty more testing that I have to do. The next two tests, and I don't know if these are going to come tomorrow or if there's going to be different videos in between these or not. Haven't decided that yet. But I'm going to be testing 3 different mastery points. So like a really beginner mastery setup, an intermediate one that does not have the suicide masteries, and then I guess I could just reuse some of this data here for the suicide masteries. Ooh, that's nice, being able to reuse this stuff. All right, and then I'm also going to test the difference between having an iOS device versus an Android device, because there is a time difference there as well. So if you guys are interested in seeing that stuff, or if you have any other suggestions, please let me know. And thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're doing very well towards our goal of getting to 10,000 subscribers before Christmas Eve. So thank you so much, everybody. See you in the next video.